This is Sherry Patton Ceramics. We're making an elephant head. I like to draw things that I don't see every day. I don't see elephants every day, so I like to draw them first. If you can look here, it's kind of a triangle shape right here, this head, and then it has this extra part here. And from the front, it's also kind of a long triangle. It's fatter at the top, it's thinner at the bottom. So what you're going to do is just take a piece of clay, roll it in your hand so that it's kind of a cylinder. Just like that. Now you're going to put the base of that cylinder right at the base of your hand. And you're going to put your other hand right at the base of it also. Okay? And then you're going to put pressure at the bottom here, but you're not going to put hardly any pressure at the top. And when you do that, when you roll like that, it gets skinnier at the bottom because you're putting more pressure at the bottom. I'm going to do that a little bit more. So I'm putting it at the base again, putting my hands together and putting pressure at the bottom, not at the top. And you can see how it just makes that shape. Okay, now we have kind of that head that we want, that shape. This is a little bit too skinny, and from the side I'm going to need to add another piece of clay. So I'm just going to take a piece of clay here. I'm not going to get real perfect with it. I'm just smoothing it a little bit, and I'm going to score and slip this on, which we have to do if we're going to be putting it in a high fire for sure, and in low fire, when I don't have my students score and slip, I find a lot of things, you know, at the bottom of the kiln or at the bottom of the kiln shelf. So here we are, more than I think I need, much more. And then I'm going to put these pieces together, and I'm just going to press them so it goes thicker to thinner, just like here. Okay, squeeze out some of that slip. Recycled clay is a really good idea for this, because when you bend that trunk, you're going to need it. Notice as I'm smoothing here, I'm really using long strokes, not short little strokes, because if I use short little strokes, it's going to make bumps, and I'm trying to get rid of the bumps. So long strokes across the whole thing to really combine those two things together. So you can see I have much more of that shape that I need. This is a little skinny. I'm pressing it harder here. There we go. So now we're going to bend that trunk. I like to make sure to bend the trunk to make it so that it meets up here, because then it has less of a chance of falling off. I'm putting a little bit of slip on my fingers, and then on the outside of this trunk, so that when I bend it, it's not going to break on me. But I'm making sure that as I'm holding it here, this is a clean finger. So now I'm bending it, and you can see it's not cracking. If I didn't do that, it would be cracking. So I'm going to bend it all the way up here. There we go. I think I'll bend it this way too, so I can show you how to make the end, the part where the elephant picks up things. Okay, so here we are. So now we've got, from the side, we've got it there. We're going to add the eyes. So you can see the eyes are about here. And we turn it around, about the same place, just to give us an idea. This needs to be a little bit flatter here. So I'm going to just smooth that out. Again, long strokes. Make sure that there's not a bump on the side here. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to add some eyes. Teensy weensy little piece of clay, smaller than you think you need. Break that in half, and then roll those little balls in your hands. And the eyes are shaped more like ours. They're not completely round. So I'm just going to squish a little bit at the end. Squish a little bit at the end so that they're not completely round. And then I'm going to score. So I'm going to look at it here, make sure that I have it right about where I want it. Notice that they're right at the sides here. Almost at the sides of the head. Scoring here. And I'm going to score on these pieces. Alright. And I'm going to add a little slip and put them on. These will stay on with a lot of pressure. Don't use the slip like regular glue. People think that will work. You need to use pressure to make it work. So you can see they're right on the sides there. Okay? And I don't want a zombie elephant, so I'm going to add a center. Add a center. You can see how much bigger they got when I did that. Just want to squish him down a little bit more. He looks very surprised. Okay. I can always cut off a little bit at the end if I'd like. Okay. So now I've got this piece together so far. So now I'm going to add those lines. Notice how they're curved right here. So I'm going to use a paper clip and I'm going to curve right here. Curve. A little bit of a curve because it really gives that 3D quality that we want. And then when I get to the thinner parts, I can just make lines. At the end, right here, you can see by this photo right here, or I mean this drawing, I'm going to smooth this out. I'm going to pinch the top of that. That's that little like finger that they have there. And then I'm going to just poke 2 holes. There we are. That looks kind of like that. Pinch a little more. There we go. Okay. So now you can see that I have really dirty hands. If I was at my house, I mean at the sink, I would actually wash that off because I don't want to get that on here. But we're going to go to the next step. So now we're going to add that mouth. You can see that it ends kind of where those eyes are going. So I like to draw it first and then try it. A bit of a caricature going on here. I can even open it up. There we go. Can smooth more here. And now we're going to add the ears. The ears are different on different kinds of elephants. I like the big ears myself. Those are the African elephants. So I just take the clay in my hands. This looks so much better than if you roll out the clay, because you know, an elephant is an organic creature. And you don't want to roll these out too skinny either, because if you roll them out too skinny, then they're going to break. So now I can just put it here and see how I like it. I think I like it about right there. And I'm just going to cut where I want to stop it. And then I'm going to take this one, make sure it's about the same thickness. And I'm going to put it up to the other one. And I'm going to cut. This one's too big, so I'm going to cut it. The difference between real amateur work and a little more advanced is that when you cut, you have 2 edges. And we need to make that one edge. So what you're going to do is take your fingers. I want to get rid of this edge. So not on the side, not on the top, right on that edge. I want to push down really hard. So hard that I get rid of that edge. And I'm going to smooth this part too, all the way around. See, I have two edges here. I'm going to get rid of that one. So I'm going to take my finger right on top of that edge, and I'm really going to squish it down until it's not there anymore. And then it's going to look great. I'm not going to do that to this side because I want a nice strong place to connect. Here we go. So where do I connect? If I look here, I can see that the ears go up right behind the areas of the eyes. I want to make sure to place these exactly where I want them. And then I'm going to draw a line so I know where I'm going to be scoring and slipping. Draw a line. Okay. So now I can score. And I'm going to add a bunch of slip. Much more than I think I need. And I know you guys who are doing the polymer clay don't have to do this. Lucky. So you want that slip to go in all those little lines and really combine these pieces together. We score both parts. Let's see. I think I got these guys mixed up. There we go. Put it right on there. Right on the other side. Make sure that I like what I'm doing. And then I'm really going to press down. Get rid of that extra slip. And there you go. There's your elephant head.